Well, let's continue with our study on the resurrection.
好，我们继续查考复活的问题。
And we'll begin by going to the Lord in prayer.
我们一起来仰望主祷告。
Father, again, I thank you for the privilege of being here.
父神，我们再次感谢你给我们这权柄在这里。
Father, I pray that you would help us,
主啊，求你帮助我们，
that you would strengthen us,
加我们力量，
that you would teach us,
教导我们，
that all this would abound to your glory.
愿这一切都把荣耀归给你。
Father, help us to understand the importance of the resurrection.
主帮助我们明白复活的重要性，
Give us the strength to proclaim it boldly and clearly.
给我们能力，能够大胆的而且清楚的讲明白。
Lord, we thank you that we have more than a teaching.
主，我们感谢你，我们有的不仅是教导而已，
But we have a resurrected Savior.
我们有一位复活的救主。
In Jesus' name,
奉耶稣基督的
amen. Now, there are several historical evidences that we can point to.
有几个复活的历史的证据，我们可以指出来。
And we're going to go through some of these now.
现在我们要看一看啊，
The first thing that I would like to point out,
第一件我要指出来的证据，
and it seems very small, but it's actually very important,
看起来好像是微不足道，但是非常重要。
that the resurrection was a predicted event.
复活是被预言的要发生的事。
One famous theologian has said this. One famous
一个
theologian
有
said
名
the
的
following.
有名的神学家曾经说过，
Jesus is the only predicted person.
基督是唯一被预言的一位。
Now think about it.
想一想啊，
Was Alexander the Great predicted?
亚历山大大帝是否被预言了呢？
Were there any prophecies concerning
有没
him?
有任何预言有关亚历山大呢？
No.
没有。
What about Buddha?
释迦牟尼呢？
Were there scriptures written thousands of years before he came?
他来之前有没有任何的经文记载他要来到？
No.
没有。
What about Muhammad?
穆罕默德呢？
None.
也没有。
But we see in the person of Jesus
但是我们看到基督
countless prophecies
有许许多多的预言，
that were written over 1,000 years before he came
上千年他来之前，1000年前就已经记载了，
by many different people.
有许多的先知都预言了，
And he fulfilled them all precisely.
他完完全全的应验了这一切的预言。
Not only was his coming a predicted event,
不仅仅他的来临，圣经预言了，
his life,
还有他的生
his
活、
teaching,
他的教导、
his crucifixion,
他的十字架
and his
和
resurrection
他的复活也都预言了，
were predicted events.
全部都是预言的。
Now, if we look for a moment, let's turn to Luke
我们看
24.
看路加福音24章啊，我们看一看。
Luke 24,
24章
verse 25 and 26.
25到26节，
And he said to them,
耶稣对他们说
O foolish men and slow of heart to believe in all that the prophets have spoken.：“
无知的人呐，先知所说的一切话，你们的心信得太迟钝了。
Was it not necessary for the Christ to suffer these things and to enter into his glory?”
基督这样受害，又进入他的荣耀，岂不是应当的吗？”
What Jesus is saying here is this,
耶稣所说的是这个啊，
that he came according to the law and the prophets.
他来是按着律法和先知的预言而来到的。
If those men had clearly understood the prophets,
如果这些人真正明白了先知的话，
they would have understood that it was necessary for him to die.
他们就会明白基督的死是必须的。
Psalms 22,
诗篇22篇、
Isaiah 53,
以赛亚书53篇，
they all point to this truth.
全部都指向这个将来要发生的这个预
But
言
not
事
only
实。
was it necessary for him to die,
他不仅仅必须要死，
it was also necessary for him to enter into his glory.
他也必须要进入他的荣耀里。
This is referring to the resurrection and ascension of Christ.
这指的是基督的复活与升天。
Now, David predicted
大卫预言了，
that God would raise the Messiah.
神会叫弥赛亚复
Look
活
in。Psalm 16.
我们看看诗篇16篇
verse 8 through 11.
第8节到11节。
I have set the Lord continually before me, because he is at my right hand, I will not be shaken. Therefore my heart is glad, and my glory rejoices. My flesh also will dwell securely, for you will not abandon my soul to Sheol, nor will you allow your Holy One to undergo decay. You have made known to me the path of life. In your presence is fullness of joy. In your right hand there are pleasures forever.
我将耶和华常摆在我面前，因他在我的右边，我便不致摇动。因此我的心欢喜，我的灵快乐，我的肉体也要安然居住。因为你必不将我的灵魂撇在阴间，也不叫你的圣者见腐朽。你必将生命的道路指示我，在你右边，在你面前有满足的喜乐，在你右手中有永远的福乐。
Verse 10 is particularly important.
第10节尤其重要啊，
You will not abandon my soul to Sheol.
因为你不将我的灵魂撇在阴间。
Sheol here refers to death or the grave.
这里阴间指的是死亡啊，指的是坟墓。
And you will not allow your Holy One to undergo decay.
也不叫你的圣者见腐朽。
Now the apostles tell us
使徒告诉我们，
David is most certainly buried,
大卫这当然埋葬了啊，
and his body has undergone decay.
大卫的身体腐烂掉了嘛。
This is looking past David.
这个看的不仅是大卫，而是大卫超越大卫，
To the Messiah,
看到的是弥赛亚，
who was raised on the third day.
就是基督，他第3天从死里复活。
Now not only David, but also Isaiah.
不仅仅大卫预言了，而且以赛
Isaiah
亚
53,
53章
12.
12节。
Now, before we get to verse 12,
我们看12节之前呢，
I'm sure you know that Isaiah 53 is a very important prophecy.
我很肯定你知道以赛亚书53章是一个很重要的预言啊，一段
It's
预言。
one of the most descriptive prophecies regarding the Messiah.
这是有关基督弥赛亚的最清晰的、详细的预言。
In verse 2,
在第2节，
we see that he comes forth
我们看到他生长，
as a tender shoot, like a root out of parched ground.
如同嫩芽，像根出于干地。
This means that when the nation of Israel was at its lowest estate,
这个意思说，以色列这个国家在最低潮、最败落的时候、衰亡的时候，
and when the kingly line had almost been destroyed,
当大卫这条脉线几乎要灭没了。
as a matter of fact, the line of kings, the line of David, was almost like a stump that had been cut off.
可以这么说，大卫的这个根啊，这个脉络就像树的树根，只剩下一个根了在下面。
Imagine you're in the desert,
你想象你在一块荒地旷野里，
and there's just a dry stump about this high above the ground.
在沙漠里头只有一个树根啊，只有那么高的一个根，
Long ago, the tree had been cut down.
树早就被砍下来
The
了。
stump looks almost dead,
这个树根看起来像死的一样，
hopeless.
无可救药了。
And then all of a sudden,
突然之间，
coming out of that stump
从这个树根胚上面
is one green twig.
有一根绿色的嫩芽，
That's the Messiah.
这就是弥赛亚，基督。
At the moment when everything was hopeless,
当一切看来似乎好黑暗、毫无盼望的时候，
and he eventually grows
他最后越长越大，
to become a tree,
成了一棵大树。
and the nations find rest in him.
整个以色列国在他里面找到安息。
Also, if you look in verse 2,
你再看第2节啊，
there would not be this spectacular or unusual appearance, physical
你
appearance.
看不到他的外貌是何等的显赫，何等的雄伟。
In the Middle Ages,
在中古时代，
the Catholic Church made many paintings of Jesus.
罗马天主教画了很多耶稣的画像，
In some of them, he almost has blonde hair and blue eyes,
有的有蓝色的眼睛或金黄色的头发。
and so physically beautiful that he looks feminine,
哇，她看起来好漂亮，就像甚至像女人一样美丽啊，
very feminine.
非常的女性化。
All those are lies.
这些都是谎言，
It has nothing to do with the way Jesus was.
这跟耶稣实际的样子毫无关系。
Then we see that he was rejected of men in verse 3.
然后第3节，他被藐视，被人厌弃啊。
And in verse 4, we see that he was stricken by God.
第4节，他被神击打，苦害了。
But we learn in 4 through 8 that he was stricken by God because he carried our sin.
那4到8节告诉我们，他因着我们的罪孽被神压伤，被神击打。
Verse 6 tells us that the Lord laid on him the iniquity of us all.
第6节告诉我们，耶和华使我们众人的罪孽都归在他身上。
He was cut off from the land of the living in verse 8.
第8节，他从活人之地被剪除。
In verse 9, his grave was assigned with wicked men, but he was with a rich man in his death.
第9节讲到，人使他与恶人同埋，但是他是跟一个财主同葬。
They crucified him as a wicked man,
他们把他杀死，好像他是恶人，像是一个罪犯一样。
but he was buried in the tomb of a wealthy man.
但是他是埋在一个财主、一个有钱人的坟墓里。
In verse 10, we find what we studied yesterday,
第10节，我们昨天也看到，
that the Lord crushed him.
是耶和华定义把他压伤。
We see in verse 11 that through the Messiah, many would be justified.
我们看到11节，借着这个弥赛亚，许多人可以得到义，被称义，
Because the Messiah would die for their sins.
因为这位弥赛亚会为他们的罪而死，担当他们的罪孽。
And then we come to verse 12.
好，我们看12节了啊。
Therefore, I will allot him a portion with the great,
因此，我要使他与伟大的同分，
and he will divide the booty with the strong.
与强盛的均分掠物，
Because he poured out himself to death,
因为他将他的命倾倒，
and was numbered with the transgressors.
以至于死，也被列在罪犯之中。
Yet he himself bore the sin of many,
他却担当多人的罪，
and interceded for the transgressors.
又为罪犯代求。
So we see that because of his death, the Messiah is rewarded.
你看，因着他的死，所以这个弥赛亚得到了赏赐。
You can't reward a dead Messiah.
你不可能赏赐一个死的弥赛亚嘛，
He must be raised.
他必须要复活。
If he is to be given a portion with the great,
如果他可以与伟大的人同分，
it is because he has been
因
raised.
为他复活了。
In verse 11,
11节，
he will see the result of the anguish of his soul, and he will be satisfied.
他必看见自己劳苦的功效，便心满意足。
He would see millions of people converted
他会看到成千上万的人归向他，
from all over the world.
全世界的人。
Do you know what's amazing about Christianity?
你知道基督教什么奇妙的地方吗？
You can say that it is not a specific ethnic religion.
你可以说这不是哪一个民族的小民族的民间宗教，
Because people from all over the world
因为全世界各处各地的人，各国各地都是基督徒。
at one time the most Christians were found in Jerusalem.
曾经一度大多数基督徒都在耶路撒冷里找到。
At another time, the most Christians were found in Antioch.
还有一阵子在安提阿找到所有的基督徒，大多数基督
At
徒。
another time, most Christians were found in Europe.
另外一段时间，基督徒跑到欧洲去了，
And at one time, many in America.
然后跑到美国来了，
But then South America.
然后南美洲，
China,
中国、
Africa.
非洲。
You see?
你看没有？是普
And
世性
here's
的，
something that's kind of amazing.
这是一件很叫人惊讶的事。
He says Jerusalem,
他说，从耶路撒冷、
Judea,
犹大全地、
Samaria,
撒玛利亚，
the outermost parts of the world.
直到地极为我做见证。
We see Jerusalem,
我们看到耶路撒冷啊，
and then from there it spread
从那
throughout
里
Judea,
传到犹大全地、
Samaria,
撒玛利亚，更大
then a
全地，
larger part of the
然后
world,
世界的一大部分，
taking in Europe,
然后包括欧洲、
the United States,
美国，
and now we
现
see
在
the outermost parts of the world.
地极亚洲、中国。
So he was satisfied because he was raised.
他看到劳苦的功效，因为他复活了，所以他心满意足了。
Now, as we said yesterday,
我们昨天说了，
not only did the Old Testament predict Christ's resurrection,
不仅仅旧约预言了基督的复活，
but Christ himself.
但基督自己弥赛亚预言了。
You know, at the very beginning of the Gospel of John,
你知道约翰福音的最前面啊，
in chapter 2, verse 19,
第2章19节，你记得？
he said, destroy this
他
temple,
说：“你把这个殿毁了，
and I will raise it again.
我会再一次把它建立起来。”
When they sought a sign from him,
他们要求看神迹的时候，
he said, as Jonah was in the belly of the whale,
他
or
说
the sea
正
monster,
如约拿在大鱼的腹中，
so the Son of Man would be in the belly of the earth.
人只要3日3夜在地中。
But just like Jonah, he would come forth.
正如约拿3天被吐出来了，耶稣也要从死里复活，从地里出来，坟墓里出来。好，
Christ declared his resurrection so clearly,
基督把他的复活讲得如此清楚，
and he said it so often,
他讲那么多次，他预言
that
了，
even his enemies knew of his predictions.
甚至他的仇敌都知道他的预言要复活。
Look at Matthew
看看
27.
马太第27章。
62 and 63.
62到63节。
Now on the next day after the preparation, the chief priests and the Pharisees gathered together with Pilate and said, Sir, we remember that when he was still alive, that deceiver said, After 3 days I am to rise again.
次日就是预备日的第2天，祭司长和法利赛人聚集来见比拉多，说：“大人啊，我们记得那诱惑人的还活着的时候，曾说3日后我要复活啊。
That's why they sent the soldiers to guard the tomb.
所以他们就差派士兵来防卫耶稣的坟墓，
Even his enemies knew he had predicted it.
甚至耶稣的仇敌都知道他预言他要复活。
Now another evidence is this,
另外一个证据是
the empty tomb.
是空坟墓。
Now just think about
你
this.
就想一想啊，
With all the attention given to the body of Jesus after his death,
他死了以后，那么多人注目到他的坟墓，
attention given not only by his disciples,
不仅仅他的门徒关心坟墓，
but by his enemies.
而且他的仇敌也关心坟墓。
The fact that the tomb is empty
这个坟墓空了，
and a dead body was never found
他的尸体找不到了，失踪了，
is great evidence for the resurrection.
这是他复活的一个有力的证据。
Now look at this.
你看啊，
From the very first day,
从刚开始，
that Sunday,
那第一天就是那个礼拜天啊，
all the enemies of Christianity had to do
所有的耶稣基督的仇敌所需要做的，
was present the dead body of Jesus.
就是把耶稣的尸体找出来。
That's all they had to
他
do.
们只需要找到他尸体，
And Christianity would have been over.
那么基督教就完蛋了，就站不住了。
The Jewish leaders who called for his death
这些犹太人的宗教领袖要求要耶稣死的这些人，
and the Roman authorities who crucified him,
还有罗马的政府，这就是钉死耶稣的罗马政府，
they knew the exact location of the tomb
他们都知道耶稣的尸体在哪个坟墓里，
and they could have taken the body.
他们可以把尸体给拿走啊，
They could have proven to the world that the resurrection was a hoax.
他们可以把耶稣的尸体拿出来，向世界证明他的复活是一个骗局。
Why was the body never produced?
为什么他们找不到他的尸体？
Now,
好，
Three theories have been invented
有人发明了3个理论啊，
by skeptics
就是怀疑的人发明3个理论
in response to this question.
来回应这个问题，他尸体跑哪去了？
And all of them are really ridiculous.
这3个理论都是非常不可理喻的，都是
The
荒唐的。
first theory
第一个理论是
is that Jesus really didn't die upon the cross.
耶稣没有真正死在十字架上，
He only lost
他
consciousness
不过是失去知觉了，
and
暂时昏厥。
was improperly diagnosed.
然后这个士兵诊断错误，
Then when they put him in the tomb,
以为他死了，然后把他放坟墓里头。
the cool air
那个坟墓里的清凉的空气
revived him
使他复苏了，
and he escaped.
他就跑掉了。
Now there are some serious problems with this theory.
这个理论有很多的问题啊。
First of all,
首先，
he was pierced through the heart with a Roman spear.
罗马的枪把他的心都给刺透了。
He was thoroughly examined by experts,
他被一个专家检验过，
the Roman
就
soldiers
是罗马士兵啊，检
who
验
were in charge of crucifixion.
他们总是在执行钉十字架的任
It
务，
was their responsibility to see to it that the person died.
他们有责任要看到这个人是真正死掉，
See, that's why they broke their legs.
所以他们把耶稣的腿，把这2个强盗的腿给
See,
打断了。
when your arms are hanging out like
你
this
知道，当你的手悬挂在十字架上，
and your full body weight is being held up by your arms,
你的整个身体的重量都被你的2只手给撑住，
it becomes impossible for you to breathe in air.
你就不可能呼进空气。
That's why they nail the feet
所以他们把腿也给钉上，
and sometimes put the feet on a platform
有时候把那个腿放在一个小架子上面，
and they bend the knees
他们这个膝盖呢是弯的，
because they wanted the person to suffer even more.
因为他们要这个囚犯尽量的受苦，
So the man would hang there
所以这个人会挂在十字架上，
and he would push up against the nail
他会逆着钉着把身体给撑上去，
and then breathe in
然后吸一口气，
and then let go
然
again
后就放下，
and then push up,
再用腿撑起来，
breathe in
然后再呼吸，
and let go
再
again.
再走，
That's the only way he could breathe.
这是他唯一可以呼吸的途径。
That's why when the Roman soldiers wanted to end the crucifixion,
所以当罗马士兵要这个人死掉的时候，
they would take a big wooden hammer
他们就会拿一个很大的木头的锤子，
and they would break their
就
legs
把他们的腿给打断，
so that they couldn't push up
他
anymore.
们就不能再把身体撑起来了。
But when they came to Jesus, they didn't do that
但他们来到耶稣面前，他们就不打断他的腿，
because he was dead.
因为他已经死了。
They did take a spear
但他们的确拿一把枪起来，
and sent it right through his heart.
然后把他的心脏给刺破、刺透。
But even if he had survived,
就算耶稣又活过来了啊，复苏了，
would he have really been in a condition
他可不可能活生生的出
to
现，
stand up,
站起来，
push the stone out of the way,
然后把那个坟墓的大石头给推出去，
and escape?
然后跑掉呢？
And where would he have gone?
那他如果逃跑了，跑哪儿去呢？
He was probably the most famous person in Palestine.
他那个时候也许是巴勒斯坦最有名望的一个人呢。
Where's he going to hide?
他要躲在哪儿呢？众所周知的。
We see that that's pretty ridiculous.
所以这是一个非常
Now, the second theory
非常不可理喻的说法。好，第2个说法，
is that the disciples stole the body and reburied it somewhere else.
第2个理论呢是门徒把他的尸体偷了，然后把它藏在另一个地方。
Now, these are the arguments against that.
这是反对他的一些理由啊。
The fierce reputation of the Roman guard.
你知道罗马士兵的凶猛是众所周知的，
They were the most highly trained soldiers in the world.
他们是全世界受过最精良训练的士兵。
To fall asleep on the job
他们在守望的时候睡着觉，
would have brought the penalty of either whipping or death.
会或者受鞭罚或者死刑啊。
Now compare these great soldiers
你比较这些伟大的士兵，
to the fearful disciples.
比较他们跟这些 胆小害怕、胆战心惊的门徒相比，
It is highly improbable that a group of frightened disciples are going to overpower these Roman soldiers.
很不可能这群胆小如鼠的门徒会打败这些强壮的士兵，
And steal the body of a dead Savior.
然后把一个死了的救主的尸体给偷去。
Now think about
你
this.
想一想，
When the temple soldiers came
当圣殿里的保卫来的时候，
in the Garden of Gethsemane,
来到了克西马尼园，
the disciples ran away from them
这些门徒就逃跑了，
and abandoned Christ.
而且把基督给放掉了，离弃他。
When a little servant girl confronted Peter,
甚至一个小女仆面对彼得的时候，
he denied Christ.
他都否认基督了。
Now, if they had this much fear while Christ was alive,
当基督还活着的时候，他们都这么害怕，
where did they get the courage to attack a bunch of Roman soldiers?
他们哪有胆量去攻击罗马的强壮的士兵呢？
Now, the third theory
这第三个理论是呢，
is that the disciples simply went to the wrong tomb.
门徒找错坟墓了，
But this is crazy.
这简直不可理喻啊！
Everyone knew the tomb belonged to Joseph of Arimathea.
所有的人都知道这个坟墓是属于亚里马太的约瑟，
He was a well-known man of the Sanhedrin Council.
他是犹太人议会的一个著名的议员。
Nicodemus was with him, and he was a ruler of the Jews.
尼哥底母也是跟亚里马太的约瑟同在，他也是一个有名的议员。
The women who followed Jesus from Galilee also knew where the tomb was.
这些从加利利来的妇女也知道坟墓在哪儿。
If the disciples had gone to the wrong tomb,
如果门徒找错坟墓了，
both their friends and their enemies would have showed them they were wrong.
他们的朋友和他们的仇敌都会告诉他们，你找错了。
They would have, the enemies of the disciples
门徒的仇敌
would have taken them to the right tomb,
会把他们带到那个对的坟墓，
unwrapped the body,
然后把他的尸体，这个裹尸布给拿开。
and shown them that there he is.
你看到没有？这是他的尸体在这儿。
Again, all these things are ridiculous.
这些都是不可理喻的，就是
Now, there's another thing about the resurrection.
还有一件有关复活的事，
Credible witnesses.
很多
Witnesses that are believable.
很多可信靠的见证人。
For an event to be confirmed as historical or real,
一件事情啊，你要肯定它是事实的话，
now this is with regard to history.
这是有关历史的啊。
Three things are required.
三件事情是必须来肯定它是事实。
There must be eyewitnesses.
第一，必须要亲眼目睹的见证人；
There must be a sufficient number of
第二
eyewitnesses.，
必须要充足的见证人，
And the
数量要
witnesses,
够。
the witnesses must demonstrate
第
integrity.
三，这些见证人必须是诚实的，是
Now-
可靠的，
Now, it's important to note
很重要啊。
that
你要
all these requirements were met in the resurrection of Jesus.
这一些的要求，在耶稣复活的见证人都符合了。
The Scripture's testimony is founded upon eyewitness accounts.
圣经里的见证是根据亲眼目睹的见证人的见证。
Here's something that's very important.
这里有一些重要的事啊。
Now, these apostles, except for Paul,
这些门徒啊，这些使徒除了保罗之外，
they were not great scholars.
他们都不是什么大学者啊、大学问的人，
They were normal men.
他们是一般老百姓。
But in their writings,
但看他们的写作当中，
we can see that they recognize the importance of being eyewitnesses.
我们可以看到他们知道亲眼目睹的见证人很重要。
Look in 2 Peter.
你看看彼得后书，
Chapter 1, verse 16.
第1章16节，
Now Peter the fisherman writes,
这个是彼得渔夫啊写道
For we did not follow cleverly devised tales when we made known to you the power and coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, but we were eyewitnesses of his majesty.
我们从前将我们主耶稣基督的大能和他降临的事告诉你们，并不是随从乖巧捏造的虚言，乃是亲眼见过他的威荣。
Do you remember in the first part of the book of Acts?
你记得使徒行传的前半部，
And they selected Matthias to be a replacement for Judas.
他们找到了一个代替犹大的另外一个门徒，
One of the requirements.
其中一个要求，一个条件。
Look in Acts chapter 1.
我们看看使徒行传的第1章
Verse 21.
21节。
Therefore it is necessary that of the men who have accompanied us all the time that the Lord Jesus went in and out among us, beginning with the baptism of John until the day that he was taken up from us, one of these must become a witness with us of his resurrection.
所以主耶稣在我们中间始终出入的时候，就是从约翰施洗起，直到主离开我们被接上升的日子为止，必须从那常与我们作伴的人中立一位与我们同作耶稣复活的见证，就要出了马提亚。
You see, they recognized someone had to be an
你
eyewitness.
知道看到吗？他们知道有人必须做亲眼目睹的见证人。
Now look in chapter 1 of Luke,
你看路加福音的第1章啊，
verse 1 through 4.
1到4节。
Insomuch as many have undertaken to compile an account of these things accomplished among us, just as they were handed down to us by those who from the beginning were eyewitnesses and servants of the word.
提阿非罗大人呐、我们有好些人提笔作书，述说在我们中间所成就的事，是照着传道的人从起初亲眼看见，又传给我们的。
Now, one of the most beautiful descriptions of this
好，其中一个描写这个最美好的啊，
is in 1 John.
是在约翰一书。
Look what John says.
你听听约翰说什么？
Chapter 1, verse 4.
第1章第4节。
What was from the beginning, what we have heard, what we have seen with our eyes, what we have looked at and touched with our hands concerning the word of life.
1到4节，论到从起初原有的生命之道，是我们所听见、所看见、亲眼看过、亲手摸过的。
He says, We heard him.
我们看见他，
We saw him with our eyes.
我们亲眼看见过，
We looked at him carefully.
我们是很仔细的看过，
We touched him with our
我们
hands.
亲手摸过的。
He says, And the life was manifested, and we have seen and testify and proclaim to you the eternal life which was with the Father and was manifested to us.
第2节，这生命已经显现出来，我们也看见过，现在又做见证，将原与父同在且显现于我们的那永远的生命传给你们。
He says, We have seen
他说我们已经见过，
and testify.
我们现在做见证，传给
Then
你们。
look in verse 3.
再看第3节，
What we have seen and heard we proclaim to you.
我们将所看见、所听见的传给你们。
Do you see the emphasis he's putting here?
你看到这里的重点吗？
He goes, he recognizes the importance of being an eyewitness.
他看到成为一个亲眼目睹的见证人的重要性。
Now, let's go to another.
我们再看一段经文啊，
The event, in order to be considered historical,
不是经文，就是这件事情为要证明是历史性的，
must not only have eyewitnesses,
不仅仅有
but
目
must
睹的见证人，
have a sufficient number of
而且必须有
eyewitnesses.
充足的见证人的人数要够。
In the resurrection, this was satisfied, this requirement.
在复活的这件事上，人数是足够的。
On Resurrection Sunday,
在复活的那个礼拜天，
Jesus appeared to Mary Magdalene in the garden.
耶稣向莫大拉的玛利亚在园中显现。
He then appeared to a small group of women who were returning from the tomb.
然后他向一小群妇人显现，他们从坟墓中回来。
On the same day, he met the two on the road to Emmaus.
同一天呢，他向那2个往以马处斯去的人显现。
Before the day had passed,
那天没有完，
he appeared also to Peter,
他又向彼得显现，
and then to the 10 disciples in the upper room.
然后在那个小房间里头向10个门徒显现。
On the following Sunday,
第2个礼拜天，
he appeared to the 11
他又向11个门徒显现，
and had his famous conversation with doubting Thomas.
然后他与那个怀疑的Thomas 多马像多马跟他记得那段话啊。
Then he appeared to more than 500 witnesses at one time.
然后他同时向500个见证人显现。
Then he appeared to his half-brother James.
然后他向他的同母异父的雅各的弟弟显现。
Who wrote the book of
就
James.
写雅各书的那个弟弟。
At some undisclosed time,
在一个我们不知道的时间，
he appeared again to Peter, John, and 5 other disciples
他又向彼得跟约翰其他5个门徒显现。
when they were fishing.
当他们在打鱼的时候又显现。
Then finally he ascended into heaven on the Mount of Olives
最后他在橄榄山上升天，
in front of many disciples.
在许多门徒的眼前众目睽睽之下。
And finally he appeared to Saul of Tarsus.
最后他向大树的扫罗显现。
The appearance was obviously very convincing.
所以他的显现是非常叫人无可置疑的。
In one moment,
一刻钟，
he changed
他改变，
from the greatest persecutor of the church
扫罗成了教会最大的迫害者，
to the greatest defender of the church.
成了教会最大的捍卫者。
Charles Spurgeon says this:
斯布真说
Do you realize that many of the events in history
你知道吗？很多历史上的事件呢，
and that are commonly believed by all
那一般人都相信这些事件呢，
do not even have 1/10 of the witnesses that the resurrection has.
这些我们都接受、都相信的历史事件呢，比起耶稣复活的证明的历史事实的证据，不到1/10的证据我们就接受。
There have been signings of famous treaties
有一些有名的约定啊，国家的条约，
that have affected entire nations.
这些签约影响了整个国度。
There have been births of princes,
还有一些很伟大的君王的出生，
statements made by great government officials,
一些政府官员的所说的一些话，
and none of these
这些等等，
have as many witnesses as Jesus.
这些的见证人比起耶稣复活的见证人根本寥寥无几，没几个。
If you deny the resurrection
如果你否定基督的复活的事实，
because of a lack of historical witnesses,
如果是因为他缺乏历史上的见证人，你就否定他的话，
you have to deny every historical event.
你就要否定所有历史上发生的事件。
Now, finally,
最后，
for an event to be confirmed as historical,
我们要接受一件事情的历史性。
the eyewitnesses have to demonstrate their integrity.
见证人必须显明他们是诚实可靠的人。
Many people have done their best to discount the claims of the apostles.
很多人呢，想尽办法要否定使徒们的宣称，说他复活了。
They have tried to discredit them,
他们要说他们说的是假的，
but they have never been able to disprove their sincerity.
但是他们不能够否认这使徒们的真诚啊，
They've never been able to attack them on grounds of integrity.
他们不能够攻击使徒们的品德、品行、
Because of
道
this,
德。因此，
the skeptic has to simply say the apostles were sincere, but they were deluded.
这些反对的人，这些怀疑的人，只能说这些使徒们很真诚，但是他们上当受骗了。
You see, when you can't attack someone's integrity,
你知道，当你不能攻击一个人的品德的时候，
you have to attack their reason.
你必须要攻击他们的理性。
They were deluded.
他们上当了，
They were crazy.
他们发疯了，
They were mistaken.
他们被误导了。
It has been argued
有人曾经辩论说，
that many of the disciples
许多的门徒啊，
and the first century Jews,
跟第一世纪的犹太人，
that they were predisposed to believe in the resurrection.
他们有先入为主的观念，就接受了，不考虑的就接受了复活了。
And therefore they simply saw what they wanted to see.
换言之，他们就看见了他们心里想要看见的复活。
The Jewish nation was struggling under the oppression of the Roman Empire.
因为当时整个以色列国都在罗马帝国的统治之下受苦受难受压迫。
Because of this, the
因此，
Jews were longing for the Messiah to come.
犹太人就巴望着弥赛亚快快的来到。
Many Jews had already followed several false messiahs.
很多的犹太人已经跟随了许多假的弥赛亚或是基督。
Also, Jesus made many predictions regarding his
而
resurrection.
且耶稣也多次预言他要从死里复活。
When you combine all of this
当你把这些所有的事实都放在一块儿，
with the disciples' great love for their teacher,
再加上这些门徒对他们的师傅的大爱，
they simply became deluded.
所以他们就很容易就上当受骗啦。
They were suffering from mass delusion
他们受的是这个一个普遍的谎言的欺骗
and hysteria.
和 hysteria 这个吓坏了就相信了。
Now, but let's look at these theories.
好，我们看看这些理论啊，
Why are they wrong?
为什么他们错呢？
First of all,
首先，
neither the Jewish nation or the disciples were predisposed to believe anything about the claims of Jesus.
不管是犹太、以色列帝国或者门徒，都没有必要先入为主的要接受耶稣的复活。
All the Jews rejected the claims of Jesus,
所有的犹太人都拒绝接受耶稣复活的，
and the disciples didn't understand them.
门徒也不明白他要复活。
He was a completely different Messiah than what they expected.
耶稣不是犹太人或者是门徒所期盼的弥赛亚。
Also, I want you to realize this.
还有，我要你明白这一点。
After Jesus was raised,
耶稣复活之后，
even the disciples did not believe it.
甚至门徒都不相信他复活了。
They didn't believe the women when they came back from the tomb.
当这些妇人从坟墓跑来的时候，他们不相信他们的话。
Thomas didn't even believe it when all the other disciples told him it was true.
当其他门徒告诉多马耶稣复活了，他也不相信。
He said that it was extremely important that he put his hand in the wounds.
多马说：“我把手放在他的伤口，我才信。
He had to see with his own
他
eyes.
必须眼见为实才相信，
He had to touch the Lord,
他必须要摸主的身体才
or
信，
he wouldn't believe it.
要不然他不信。
Also,
而且，
Jesus appeared to many at one time,
耶稣同时向许多人显现，
but he also appeared to different people at different
他
times.
也向不同的人在不同的时候显现。
Those are not the grounds for mass hysteria.
这不可能是一同受到了幻觉的欺骗的结果。
You see, all these arguments are just false.
你知道，所有的这些理论都是站不住脚的。
Nothing explains the continuation of Christianity except for the resurrection of Jesus Christ.
要不是耶稣基督真正从死里复活，没有人能够解释为什么基督教能够继续存留到如今。
If you say that one person was possibly deluded,
如果你说一个人可能上当受骗，
that is a
可
possibility.
能吗？是，
But hundreds at
但是-
one time,
几百个人同时上当，
and many of those were most or all of those were not predisposed to believe.
这些人都不是先入为主，全部都是先入为主，要上当。
Even when he was getting ready to ascend up from the Mount of Olives.
甚至当耶稣要做好准备，要升天，在橄榄山上要升天的时候，
Right before he gave the Great Commission in Matthew 28,
在马太福音第28章，在他给门徒们大使命之前呢、
it said that some doubted.
圣经说还有人怀疑，
This was not a delusion.
所以这不可能是一个大骗局、大谎言，
Now
受欺骗。
here's another evidence
另外一个证明
that to me is very
对我
important.
来说很重要，
A lie without a motive.
就是一个谎言没有动机的谎言呐、
If the resurrection was a lie,
如果基督的复活是个骗局，是个谎言，
something that the apostles made up,
如果是门徒们自己想象出来的，或者
How-
是虚构出来的，
how can we explain their lifelong dedication to the
我
gospel?
们怎么能够解释他们一生都甘心献身于福音的这件事呢？
Regardless of the suffering.
尽管有那么多的痛苦、苦难，
If Christ had not been resurrected
如果基督没有复活，
and the disciples simply invented the story,
如果是这个复活是门徒发明出来的一个故事而已
then，we should be able to discover the motive for their lie.
那我们应该可以发现他们要这么做的动机是什么？
We should be able to discover what they hoped to achieve.
我们应该发觉他们要做的是什么事情？
Now, it is an historical fact
这是历史事实，我们知道，
that the apostles and the great majority of early Christians,
不管是使徒也好，还是初期教会也好，大多数
they died poor,
他们死的时候都是穷兮兮的死了，穷哈哈的，
hated, and persecuted.
而且被人厌恶，而且受到逼迫，死得很惨。
Look what the apostle Paul says in 1 Corinthians 4:13.
我们看看，哥林多前书第4章13节，保罗说什么？
1 Corinthians 4:13.
4章13节，
When he says, "We have become as the scum of the world, the dregs of all things, even until now."
人还把我们看作是世上的污秽，万物中的杂则。
Now,
好，
if these men had invented the resurrection story
如果这些人发明了耶稣复活的故事，
for the typical reasons that men invent stories,
就是如果是为了一般情况，别人要编造谎言同样的理由的话，
wealth,
为了财富，
fame,
为了名誉，
power,
为了权力，
then all of them would have denounced their story
那么他们就会全部都会否定他们所发明的故事。
when they saw that it was bringing them the very opposite of what they desired.
当他看不到他们所得到的不是他们所要的，而是恰恰相反的，他们就会否定他们所起初发明的故事。
Imagine Peter, John, and James.
想象彼得、约翰、雅各这些人
Let's，say they're liars,
我们比如他们是撒谎的，
and they're sitting there thinking,
他们这些骗子坐在那儿想，
you know, he said he was going to rise again.
他说他要复活哎，
Now, if we can go and steal his body
如果我们可以去把他尸体给偷来，
and go hide it somewhere
把他
else,
埋藏起来，
tell everybody he's raised,
然后告诉所有的人他复活啦，
they will believe he's the Messiah.
他们就会相信他是弥赛亚，是
And
基
we
督
will be his representatives on earth.
哎，我们就会成为他世上的代表人，
And we will come to be the greatest leaders among the Jews.
我们就成为犹太人当中最伟大的宗教领袖啦。
We will have power and
我
fame.
们有权利，我们有名誉地位，
Even the Romans might believe it.
甚至罗马人都会相信我们嘞。
Now, if they'd have said that
好，如果他们这么想的话，
and started preaching,
然后开始传福音了，传所谓的福音，
they would have realized very quickly that they were not going to achieve their
他
goals.
们很快就会认识到，哎，他们想要达到的目的达不到，
They would have stopped.
他们就会马上停止了。
They would have said, yeah,
他们说
we're sorry.
哎呀对不起，对不起，
It's all a lie.
我们是撒谎的，
We recant. We don't believe it.
我们后悔，我们放弃，我们其实根本不行。
They would have done anything to save their lives.
他们会做任何事情要保留性命。
If it had been an invented lie.
如果是他们自己发明的一个谎言的话，他们会立刻
Now
放
here's
掉
another
放弃。
thing I want you to think about.
还有一件事情我要你想到，
If they had invented this whole story as a lie,
如果他们编造了这个谎言呢，
they would have done a few things differently.
他们会做事会做不同。
Who were the primary witnesses of Christ's birth?
基督复活的最主要的不是复活，诞生最主要的见证人是谁？
The shepherds.
是牧羊人。
Now, if they were inventing a lie,
如果是牧羊人是编造谎言的话，
they would have never made shepherds the witnesses.
他们就不会叫牧羊人做见证人。
You say why?
你说为什么？
Shepherds were considered the most lying, deceiving people in all of Israel.
以色列当中啊，牧羊人是被认为是最会撒谎、最会欺骗的人。
They were not allowed to testify in a court of law
在法庭上，牧羊人不准上庭做见证，
because they were such liars.
因为他们是臭名昭著的说谎者。
Who were the first witnesses of the resurrection?
耶稣复活的最初的见证人是谁？
Women.
女人。
Women were not allowed to testify in a court of law.
女人也不准当时上法庭做见证的。
Their testimony was meaningless.
女人的见证是不算数的，没分量的。
Also, realize this.
还要知道，
If I was going to invent a story
如果我要发明一个故事，编造一个谎言，
that would make me famous,
这个谎言会使我出名，
I would not put in the story all the stupid things I had done.
我不会放在这个故事里头一大堆这个愚昧的事情编造进去。
But look at the Gospels.
那你看看这四福音，
The apostles are constantly appearing as failures.
这些使徒好像出现的总是像失败者一样，
And Jesus is the one that appears glorious.
而是耶稣才是那荣耀的一位，
You see,
得胜的一位。
if they were starting a lie,
如果这些使徒要发明一个谎言，要开始一个骗局的话，
they would have told a different story.
他们会把这个故事改变一下。
The most offensive thing you can say to a Greek philosopher,
offensive, I mean
offensive,
OK，
it's scandalous.
最叫希腊的哲学家反感的事情啊，你可以说的是，
The one thing that was most horrific to the Greek mind
对于希腊的思想最反感、最可怕的事，
I mean, just ridiculous,
就是简直不可理喻的、不能接受的事，
is that God would become a man.
就是神会变成人。
Now, if you were going to invent a lie,
如果你要发明一个谎言、编造一个骗局的话，
you wouldn't put that in there.
你不会把这个放进去。
The most offensive thing to a Jew
对于犹太人最反感的事是，
would be to say that the Messiah would be crucified under a curse.
就是那他们的弥赛亚基督会被钉死在咒诅之下，钉死岂有此理！
If you were going to invent a lie,
如果你要发明一个谎言，
you'd do a lot better than that.
你就会发明一个更好的谎言。
The most scandalous thing to the first century was crucifixion.
而且第一世纪最糟糕、最可恶、最叫人反感的就是钉十字架，
It was literally a filthy word.
这简直就是一个像说脏话一样，十字架。
And yet, it's all Paul preached.
但是这是保罗所传讲的十字架，
Now,
唯一传讲的。
Another great evidence of the resurrection
另外一个复活的很大的证据啊，
is the
很重要的证据
transformation of the disciples.
就是门徒们生命的翻天覆地改变。
If the resurrection is not a historical reality or it is a hoax,
如果基督的复活不是一个历史上的事实，乃是一个骗局的话，
then the transformation of the apostles cannot be explained.
那么门徒们生命的大改变就解释不了，你就解释不了了。
Before the resurrection,
复活之前，
the disciples were timid,
门徒都是胆小如鼠的，
they were fearful,
他们吓得半死，
and they were motivated by their own preservation.
他们都是为了保留自我，为自我生存而卖命的。
During the arrest of Jesus, they abandoned him.
耶稣被捕的时候，他们都 离弃他了，跑掉了，为救自己的命。
During the trial, they denied him.
在耶稣受审的时候，他们否定他。
And for the 3 days of his death, they hid themselves in their house.
耶稣在坟墓里埋藏的时候，他们也躲在自己的房子里头，关上房门。
The women who followed Jesus showed more courage than the apostles.
那些跟随耶稣的女人啊，比使徒显出的胆量更大。
The women went to the tomb on Sunday morning.
礼拜天早上，这些女人跑到耶稣的坟墓去找他。
While the men were hiding in the upper room.
大男人呢，躲在房子里头，关上房门。
It was women who first believed the resurrection and proclaimed it.
也是女人们首先相信他的复活，而且宣告他的复活。
And the apostles argued with them.
而且，这是使徒们还不信呢，还跟他们辩论呢。
But after the resurrection,
但基督复活之后，
these same men and women
这些男男女女们
they became courageous defenders of the faith.
他们成了基督信仰的勇敢的见证人。
They stood against the world.
他们捍卫信仰，
And they
抵挡全世界，捍卫信仰。
And they turned it upside down.
他们把全世界都颠倒过来。
When the most powerful leaders in the world commanded them not to speak the name of Jesus,
当世界最强大的领袖吩咐他们不准奉耶稣的名传道的时候，
they defied their authority.
他们不听他们的话，不听他们的权柄。
Look in Acts 4.
看看《使徒行传》第4章。19节，
But Peter and John answered and said to them,
彼得、约翰说
Whether it is right in the sight of God to give heed to you rather than God, you be the judge, for we cannot stop speaking about what we have seen and heard.
听从你们，不听从神，这在神面前合理不合理？你们自己酌量吧。我们所看见、所听见的，不能不说。
Now, remember Peter?
你记得彼得吗？
The little girl came to
那
him.
个小女孩到他面前，
You're one of his disciples.
你也是他们一伙的。
He said, No, I'm
不
not.
不不，我跟他们没关系。
And now he's standing before
现在，
the leaders of
他
Israel.
站在以色列人的宗教领袖面前，
And he said,
他说
I don't care what you say.
我不怕你们说什么，
You do what you want to me.
你要怎么办就怎么办。
I'm going to tell you this.
我告诉你，
Jesus is Lord.
耶稣基督是主。
Now, how do you explain this?
你怎么解释这个改变？
There's a resurrection. That's how you explain it.
因为他复活了，这是唯一的解释，
And
合理的解释。而且
There's a Pentecost,
还有一个五旬节，
the coming of the Spirit,
圣灵降临，
transforming and empowering.
改变他们生命，
They
给他们力量，给他们能力。
They were threatened.
他们受了恐吓，
They were beaten.
他们受了鞭打，
They were thrown in
他
prison.
们被放到监狱里，
And they were killed.
他们被杀掉。
But they could not stop preaching what they had seen and heard.
但是他们不能停止他们所看见、所听见的，不能停止宣讲这些。
Now look at the last 2,000 years.
你看看过去2000年来，
There's a generation of men and women, countless generations of
有
men and
一
women.
代一代的男男女女，
They spread the gospel throughout the entire world.
他们把福音传遍了全世界每个角落。
They have no political, religious, or economic power.
他们没有政治，没有宗教，没有经济的后盾，
They have no academic credentials.
他们也没有世界的学士学位。
Yet they have changed the world more than all the armies combined.
但是他们改变世界，胜于全世界的军队加起来。
This cannot be explained
这个不能够解释，
except through the resurrection.
除非基督从死里复活了。
Now, another evidence
好，另外一个证据
is the conversion of our enemies.
就是我们仇敌的悔改信主。
I've written here
我这里写到啊，
the radical transformation of the followers of Jesus Christ after the resurrection.
基督复活之后啊，他们生命彻底的改变。
This is not the skeptic's only problem.
这不是怀疑者的唯一的问题啊。
he must also explain the conversion of those who opposed Jesus
他们也必须要解释那些反对基督教者的改变。
and persecuted the Christians.
他们逼迫基督徒，但他们改变了。
How did Christianity impact some of its greatest enemies?
基督教怎么样子影响到敌对他的人呢？
If Jesus had not risen from the dead,
如果基督没有从死里复活的话，
especially the half-brother of Jesus, James,
特别是雅各，就耶稣的同母异父的弟弟啊，
and the infamous Saul of Tarsus.
还有那个臭名昭著的从前的大树的扫罗，怎么改变的？
During the life of Jesus,
在耶稣的生命中，
his brothers James and Jude,
他的弟弟犹大跟雅各，
they did not believe in him.
他们都不相信他。
We read that in John 7:5.
在约翰福音第7章第5节啊，告诉我们这个。
In fact, they were openly antagonistic against him.
甚至他们都完全反对耶稣啊！
The entire family of Jesus
整个耶稣的家庭
once traveled from Nazareth to Capernaum.
有一次从拿撒路到就是在那个叫什么加百农，
They did this in order to take Jesus by force
他们为了要把耶稣强迫他回家，
because they thought he had lost his senses.
因为他们以为耶稣发疯了。
That's Mark chapter 3 verse 21.
这是马可福音第3章21节。
But after the resurrection of
但
Jesus,
耶稣复活之后，
his brothers were radically converted
他的兄弟都彻底改变了，
and they became leaders in the early
他们
church.
成了初期教会的领袖了。
Their devotion and submission to Christ's lordship
他们对基督的爱戴，对基督的顺服，
is seen in their epistles that they wrote.
在他们所写的书信当中，我们可以看见他们对基督的爱
Both
戴。
James and Jude
雅各和犹大
refer to themselves as slaves or bondservants of Jesus
都
Christ.
称他们自己为耶稣基督的奴仆、奴隶。
They do not even identify themselves as his half-brother,
他们甚至不敢承认，没有说自己是耶稣的弟弟啊，
but as his slaves.
但是是他的奴仆。仆
Then
人
there's Saul of Tarsus.
还有大树的扫罗，
I mean, we really don't need to say much about him.
我们不需要多说有关他。
He tried to literally destroy the church.
他试图要把整个教会当时毁灭掉。
He stood there while Stephen was stoned to death,
当司提反被石头打死的时候，站在那儿做见证，
and he gave his approval.
而且他同意阿门。
But later on,
但是后来
what happens?
发生什么事？
He meets Jesus on the road to Damascus.
他在大马色的路上遇到耶稣基督，
No one would doubt
没有人会怀疑，
that of all the apostles,
在所有的使徒当中，
Saul of Tarsus became the most outstanding.
大树的扫罗成了最著名的一位，最有名望的一位。
How can we explain this?
我们怎么样子解释这一点呢？
There's only one way.
只有一个途径。
This man who hated Christians,
这个曾经恨基督徒的人，
this man who hated Christ,
这个曾经恨恶基督的人，
saw Christ
看见了基督，
and was completely changed.
然后是完全的、彻底的改变了。
Now, I want to give another evidence.
What?
This is the last one.
我要提出另外一个证据，最后一个证据啊，
And this evidence is extremely important
这个证据是非常重要的。
in the study of any kind of history.
你研究任何历史，这个证据都很重要。
Now, I want us to look in Acts chapter 5,
我们看看《使徒行传》第5章
verse 35 through 39.
35到39节，
Now, this is Gamaliel's council.
这个是加马列，
He was a
Say-
famous Pharisee,
他是一个有名的法利赛人啊，教士，
greatly respected.
是大受尊重的。
In verse 35, this is what he says.
35节他说，这个德高望重的加
Men
马
of
列，
Israel, take care what you propose to do with these men.
他就对众人说：“以色列人啊，论到这些人，你们当小心怎样办理啊！
For some time ago,
因为从前啊，
Theudas rose up claiming to be somebody, and a group of about 400 men joined up with him.
从前呢，丢大起来，自夸为大， 服从他的人约有400个人。
But he was killed, and all who followed him were dispersed and came to nothing.
他被杀后啊，服从他的全都散了，归于无有。
After this man, Judas of Galilee rose up in the days of the census and drew away some people after him.
此后呢，报名上册的时候，又有加利利的犹大起来，引诱些百姓跟从他。
He too perished, and all those who followed him were scattered.
他也灭亡，服从他的人也都四散了。
So in the present case, I say to you,
现在我劝你们啊，
stay away from these men and let them
不要
alone.
管这些人，任凭他们吧。
For if this plan or action is of men, it will be overthrown.
他们所谋所行的，若是出于人，必要败坏；
But if it is of God, you will not be able to overthrow them.
若是出于神，你们就不能败坏他们。
Or else you may even be found fighting against God.
恐怕你们倒是攻击神了。
This is an amazing statement that he makes.
他说的这些话是很叫人惊讶的。
Prior to the coming of Jesus Christ, 2 false messiahs had appeared to the nation of Israel.
耶稣基督还没有来之前，2个假基督曾经向以色列人显现过。
And both of them drew away a following. They had a
2个
following.
人都拉了一帮人跟随他们。
But after the death of both, their followers quickly
但
dispersed.
这2个人死了以后呢，跟随他们的人都四散了。
And no one ever heard of those movements again.
以后就烟消云散，以后就销声匿迹，听不见他们消息了。
For this reason, Gamaliel reasoned that
所
if,
以呢，这个加马列就讲理了。
that if Jesus of Nazareth was just a man
如果耶稣基督拿撒勒的耶稣是个人的话，
and his resurrection was a hoax,
如果他的复活仅仅是一个骗局的话，
then the same fate would befall Christianity.
那么基督教的结局也会跟前面这2个假基督一样。
But he also reasoned that if the resurrection were true,
他也辩论了，如果他的复活是真的话，
then Jesus was the Messiah.
那么基督就是真正的弥赛亚。
The movement would continue,
他所带领的这个运动，这个宗教就会继续
and
下
they
去。
would be fighting against God.
那么他们就会抵挡神了，跟神。
One of the greatest evidences of the resurrection
耶稣复活的其中一个最大的证据，
is the continuation of the Christian faith throughout history.
就是基督教在历史上的不断的延续，
And throughout the nations of the world.
而且传遍了世界的每个国度。
At this present moment,
此时此刻，
there have been millions and maybe even billions of people
有成千甚至是亿万的人呐、
who testify to having a personal relationship with Jesus Christ.
他们都可以做见证，他们跟耶稣基督面对面建立了关系。
They claimed that he dramatically changed their lives.
他们说，耶稣真是彻底的翻天覆地的改变了他们的生命。
Now, we're not talking about religion.
我们现在讲的不是宗教，
We're not talking about someone who claims to be a part of the Christian religion.
我们现在讲的不是那些我是属于基督教的啊，我是一个宗教的分子啊，不，
We're talking about people who claim to know Christ
我们讲的是有人说他们认识基督，
and that their lives have been radically transformed by him.
他们的生命被彻底的因着基督改变了。
Now, here's something very important.
这里有一件很重要的事，
This group of people,
这一群人啊，
they are not confined to one ethnic group
他们不仅仅是属于哪一个小民族的，
or one political
或
group
哪一个政治团体的，
or one economic group
或者哪一个社会经济阶层的，
or some academic group,
甚至哪一些学术圈子的，
but they include people from every ethnicity, from every nation,
这一群人呢，是从世界各族各民，
from every level of economics,
不管是贫是富，社会阶层高低，
the rich and the poor,
穷还是有
and
钱，
from every academic level,
还是有学问的没学问的，知识程度不同，
the uneducated who cannot read,
那些目不识丁的人，
and some of the greatest scientists
文盲。
in history.
或者是历史上最杰出的科学家，
Also,
而且
the church is made up of people
教会里面的组成的人，
who would have never come together in any other circumstance.
在其他任何情况下不可能碰到一块儿。
Greeks,
犹太人，希腊人，
Jews,
犹太人，
slaves,
奴仆，
free men,
自由人，
rich,
有钱的，
poor,
穷光蛋，
Chinese,
中国人，
Japanese,
日本人，
Jew,
犹太人，
Arab.
阿拉伯人。
Do you see?
你看，
They come together in
他们
Christ.
竟然在基督里联合，
This is amazing.
这叫人惊讶。
Also, it's important
而且很重要，
that a countless multitude
这无数的人呐、
of men, women, and children
男的、女的、孩子、老人，
have followed Christ at great personal sacrifice.
不惜任何代价、牺牲、舍己，要跟随耶稣。
Some experts have argued
有一些专家曾经辩论过，
that more than 50 million believers have been killed.
超过50 million
50 million
5000万的信徒曾经被杀害殉道，
in the last 2,000 years.
就在过去2000年当中。
Some say that the number is much higher.
还有些人说，这甚至受害者的数目超过这个。
Now, all of this leads us to one very important question.
这个都导致我们要问一个问题了，很重要的问题。
What is the reason behind such devotion and sacrifice?
他们这样的牺牲、这样的舍己、这样的爱主的背后的动机是什么？
Now, when we turn on the television
好，当我们把电视机打开的时候，
and we see these false
我
prophets
们看到这些假师傅啊，
asking for money,
他们要钱，
living in mansions,
他们住在大房子、
we
洋
know
房里。
what their reasons
我们知
are.
道他们的目的、他们的动机嘛。
But when we see countless people who have lost everything
当我们看到成千上万的人失去一切所有的，
for the sake of Christ,
来跟随耶稣，为了基督的缘故，
what is the explanation?
这理由何在？原因、动机何在？
There's only one.
只有一个。
When the stone was rolled away that Sunday morning,
当离复活的早晨，那石头被挪开的时候，
Jesus wasn't inside.
耶稣不在里面了，
He is risen,
他复活了，
just as he said.
正如他所预言的。
Let's pray.
我们祷告，
Father, thank you for your power,
父，我们感谢你的大能，
for the resurrection of Jesus.
把基督从死里复活了。
Thank you that he reigns in heaven,
感谢你，他在天上做王做主，
King of kings and Lord of lords.
万王之王，万主之主。
Thank you that he has saved us,
感谢你，他拯救了我们，
that he sustains us,
他仍然托住我们，
and that he is coming again.
他还要再来。
Thank you that we will pass through judgment
感谢主，我们已经出死入生了，我们不用受审
because of
判了，
his blood
因着他的宝血
and his resurrection.
和他的复活。
And thank you that we will be with him throughout eternity.
感谢主，我们要永远与他同在。
In Jesus' name,
奉耶稣基督的名，
amen.
阿门。
Please visit our website at heartcrymissionary.com. There you will find information about the ministry, our purpose, beliefs, and methodologies, and extensive information about the missionaries we are privileged to serve.